visit a lot of small retailers in the UK, and they don't necessarily understand the legal requirements and the duties expected of them, and it puts them at risk. Here's a list of some of the things that you really must have in place in your physical premises, especially if you've got employees. The first is a health and safety poster. You can buy that online, and it must be present and displayed, and it must also be signed with the contact detail of the nominated rep. The next one's an accident book. That's a physical record that can be kept somewhere accessible, and almost everything has to be reported in it. Alongside that, you also need to have an appropriate first aid kit. But depending on the number of employees, you may or may not need to have a designated first aider. You need a fire plan. You must have the right fire extinguishers according to the nature of your business, and you must have an inspection to confirm that your risk assessment is complete and an evacuation plan in place. But don't panic, the local fire service is normally very willing to do that for absolutely nothing. The other thing a lot of businesses don't really understand is the importance of business insurance. Public liability, professional indemnity, employer and employees liability are all things, and one of the certificates needs to be on display as well. So they're the things that a lot of people trip over because they don't understand. It's a really good idea to speak to your local authority, the licensing department, and also the trading standards department. Because depending on what you do, there are certain governing rules around the way that you have to manage your products. Did you know, for example, that if you sell certain types of cleaning products or chemicals, say for gardening, you might have to comply with the Poisons Act? That was something even I didn't know about until quite recently. So how on earth are small businesses meant to know all these things? But for sure, there's a lot of help and advice out there if you go looking for it. And one more thing to consider, and this is covered in part in our video on limited company versus sole trader, is your accounts. Not many people like to do their accounts, but bookkeepers love doing accounts. And so if that's not the kind of thing you enjoy doing, you are legally bound to do it. And I would very much urge you to get somebody to do it for you if it's not your cup of tea.